Hey guys, so I wanted to give you a bit of a primer before this video today because this is different than what I normally upload. I can't EFAP things right now, and so I have decided to basically put together a bunch of clips that are relevant to the drama that I've been covering recently on the channel with this whole Comicsgate stuff and Eric July. Basically, there was a whole bunch of stuff that went down because supposedly Ethan Van Sciver was going to appear on Alex Stein's show, and this was branded as a debate by Alex Stein and his producer. Now, the show didn't happen, chaos ensued, and these clips basically explain what happened. I have had to use as little possible of Eric July's video about this topic, and the reason behind that is because Eric July has DMCA'd content creators at this point, and I don't want to put really much of his footage anywhere on my channel and run that risk. So I've used very little of that, but I do have some tweets and things like that that I've collected into the footage, including the most recent clips coming from Alex Stein's most recent stream, where his producer laid out the entire timeline that he puts forward. But I do want to give just my general take here on this whole mess before we play these clips. Basically, a stream was announced on Twitter. That's how most of the people, myself included, found out about this. Now, this announcement was this really nice thumbnail, which you're going to see in this compilation, of Ethan Van Sciver versus Eric July, and it was going to take place on Alex Stein's show. Of course, this is what we didn't get to see. At first, this was agreed upon by EVS, and it was also agreed upon by Eric July. Now, Eric agreeing on this wasn't exactly knowledge, but we now have that confirmed not only by the producer of Alex Stein's show, but by Eric in his own video. Now, what this meant is that Eric did confirm that he would do this, so did EVS, so why didn't it happen? Well, either the management at the Blaze, Eric July, or one of Eric July's friends who work at the Blaze, had to have put the kibosh on this entire thing. Alex Stein would not cancel this show because he himself admits on his own show that this would be big views. One of their most popular streams recently was a debate that was had about a conservative calendar, and so he also believed this would get views in the door. Now, some people have pointed out that when you put all these clips together, it sort of sounds like Alex Stein knew that this would generate a lot of clicks and views online, and so he may have done this strategically, expecting to get a screaming match on his show that would have resulted in a high view count, which I think every YouTuber can appreciate that motive. So I certainly don't hold that against him, and I know EVS probably doesn't, but it kind of sounds like Eric July definitely holds a grudge. Recently, some people caught him in his comment section spouting off about how he didn't want to be involved in a minstrel show, which is a pretty charged statement to throw the way of one of your colleagues. Eric seems to think that Alex Stein was trying to backstab him in some way by having this debate. I don't think that's the case. I think Stein realized that it would get a lot of views. That doesn't equate to backstabbing, because he would have had the episode with just EVS to talk about comic stuff and the whole situation regardless, and he would have argued from Eric's position, and he makes this point in the show. So, this all headed when Tony from Hack the Movies put up a tweet calling Eric July a chicken, and EVS called Eric July a chicken for not going on the debate. And so that's where the dogpiling began. Everybody online, myself included, started making jokes about this, and it's been funny since then as this drama develops and sort of expands and blows up, and everybody starts talking about it. So, this whole compilation is meant to catch you up. All the videos that I clipped things from are down below, so check that stuff out if you want to see the full context of everything. I hope you enjoy it. Kick back, enjoy this absolute mess.
Come on.
Well, here's what happened. So, I'm eating an ice cream cone real quick. So here's what happened. Like, you know, on Jack's show, I told Alex, I said, hey, you should have me on the show. He said, that's great. He said, yeah, let's do it. And so his producer contacted me and was just like, how about Tuesday? And it was like, this was like Friday when he said this. Tuesday. My God, I was thinking March sometime. So I said, okay. So he said, Tuesday at 9:10, I'll get in contact with you and let you know. So I knew I had the Alex Stein show tonight at 7:10. And so I took a nap all afternoon, trying to like be ready, you know, Eye of the Tiger, to be sharp and funny on Alex Stein. So I wake up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, somewhere in there. And I turn on the computer to look to see if there are any instructions on, you know, what to do to be on the show. And there isn't. But on Twitter, there's a big banner that says Ethan Van Sciver versus Eric July fucking on the Alex Stein show. And I went, what the fuck is this? And what I thought, I was like, oh, you know what happened? I was like, I'll bet you anything, because it's on the Blaze. Eric July sandbagged me and wants me to debate him. Like he's watching Trashcast. He wants to debate. So I said, cool, we'll debate. No problem.
Okay. Now, Eric July, does he have something to do with, what is his relationship with the Blaze?
He works there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He explains it in that video. Did you see his response video to backing out? Either?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I'm afraid Alex Stein could lose his show over this. Because what happened was, it looks like Eric July may have contacted the Blaze and said, why is one of my associates at work trying to sandbag me with this list of questions that are defamatory or whatever it is? Why is that happening? They're bringing this guy on who's been mean to me. They're putting me in this position.
You think he said, I'm bringing this guy on that didn't mean to me?
Well, that's the phrase. See, here's the thing about it. Like he said, you know how you can tell when people talk because they use the same words. So, you know, Eric July's like, they're bringing Ethan on to get messy about me. Okay. And I went, getting messy about you? Like, what the hell? That's the same thing the producer said.
Jimmy, I just can't believe you ruined the show like this today.
I know. This is my fault, everyone. I would like everyone to know that the thumbnail with the two guests that were supposed to come on.
Huge guests. Both have arguably bigger channels than us. Would have been really good debate. A lot of people want to see them actually confront each other.
No, it's my fault. I was unaware of the beef with the previous guest, so I reached out to the secondary guest saying you would like to address it. It's just not an area I know a lot about, and I didn't realize there was
I didn't know a lot about this area either. Who gives a shit about all these dumbass comic books? Why does everybody give a damn so much?
Apparently it's a very big deal to some people, and the beefs are real. I didn't realize it. I thought that, just two people going on it after line. I'm like, oh, that'd be fun to talk about. I didn't realize, no, this is a long rivalry.
Are you familiar with any of this comic stuff?
Are we allowed to just say? I mean, let's just say it, elephant in the room, so I can explain it. This is my fault. This is what happened.
Everything is always your fault.
Ethan reached out, wanted to come on the show. I said, yeah, and I reached out, told him, blah, 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 last week. This week, he started saying mean things about our colleague, Eric July. And I was like, okay, they're beefing on Twitter, so I reached out to Eric this morning, so you want to come on, blah, blah, blah. And then it looked bad. It looks like I was, trying to bring someone on who was being mean to a colleague. I had no idea they had a long-standing beef. So long story short, it just, we decided too much, too messy, and now we are here.
Later on, he said, we figured that, this could get a little messy, so we brought... So these two guys talked, and they decided on a vocabulary together. Subtly. I'm not saying they both said, you say messy, and I'll say messy. I'm saying one of them said messy, and the other one picked up that word. We all do that, right? So, anyway, apparently somebody contacted headquarters at the Blaze and got this thing scrapped.
And this was the communication that I got. Hey, we just got the debate canceled tonight at the advice of Blaze management, so we don't need you anymore for the show. People are thirsting for just drama, and they want this thing so bad. I told y'all how I'm moving in 2024. Leave me out of that corny ass shit. I want no part of it. If you want to call it a setup or whatever, I don't care. That's not really important to me. I wanted no part of this at any point in time.
So Eric July didn't have to technically chicken out. He could say the Blaze canceled it. Well, the Blaze canceled it on whose request? Because what do you think? The Blaze is looking at this and going, we can't have this. Ethan versus Eric July in a debate about comic books? Why, that would be devastating. Somebody called and cried and got the Blaze to yell at Alex Stein, to yell at the producer, and to get the thing canceled. And I don't know. Wasn't me.
Surely Alex is a bigger draw than Eric, though.
Well, some of that's going to be contract stuff, because in that video he basically explains like he's supposed to be there X amount of times a week or something like that when they ask for him. Like, so there's some sort of agreement they have, some contract.
Just when you thought somebody couldn't be any more of a fucking fat, like, do you know what I mean? Imagine being an adult male and running to someone. Please, will you? Oh God, I could never do such a thing. My fucking testosterone levels wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't.
Yeah, it's
they canceled my guesting because the chat's like, why did they cancel your guest then? Well, I wondered that too, but the only reason they had me on was to fuck with Eric July, as it turns out. That was the entire plan. And it wasn't me, it wasn't my plan. I didn't even know that that was the plan, but apparently that was the plan because that's what the producer told Eric July. Like, this is the list of things that we're going to ask you about, and we're going to, Ethan's going to be asked about. I did not see that list. Eric was reading from an email I was not given. I did not see any of those questions. I had no idea that my interview was going to be about Eric July at all. But I should have known because every time, it's like, Alex Stein has Nerdrotic on, and like the Eric July drama comes up. Eric July has Vito on, and it's about Eric July. He's very interested in this. I don't know how he personally feels about Eric July, but he wants to talk about the drama.
And I say interesting. So the goal is to platform him and have him just talk about myself. It seems like a purposeful move to just go on a platform that I contribute at to talk down about me.
So last week.
Oh gosh, this is already boring, Jimmy. Why is it when you talk it's so damn boring?
Okay,
literally everybody wants to know about the drama. They want to know why you caused this and why you would pit Eric July, an employee at the Blaze, against his arch nemesis Ethan Van Sciver, who I happen to be friends with. But go ahead.
Okay, last week, Ethan Van Sciver reached out to Alex, said would like to come on the show.
We were on a mutual podcast, yes, and we agreed. Hey, come on.
We said fantastic. He's very popular. He's got
a great channel. He's an incredible artist. We're big Ethan Van Sciver fans here. We really are. He's only been nice to us.
No, we genuinely are. He was on the show in the early days, but so I DM'd him on Twitter. I followed him on Twitter last week. I hadn't followed him before then. So we booked him.
I think he had his account taken down or something too. So I don't know. Maybe you were following his old one.
Maybe.
Go ahead.
But anyway, this past weekend, he started being critical of Eric July, who is a Blaze colleague.
Well, he's been critical of Eric July for months, if you've been paying attention.
Yes, but I have not, because I didn't follow him until recently, and I don't follow the comic book stuff. But anyway, we saw he was being critical of Eric, so we were like, okay, well, we would need to address this because it's a Blaze colleague. How do we go about this? So, and I'll bring up the text. So there is.
Oh God! Now you're sharing text messages.
No, I'm just reading exactly what I said. I just don't want any room for a misunderstanding.
No, leave a bunch of room. We want that. This is the best thing for our show ever. Now everybody's talking about it, and now they don't know the real reason. So really, we don't want to give them the real reason. We want to be very vague.
I'm gonna say everything so we can never talk about this again. So. We wanted to reach out to Eric, so I said yesterday at 11:15 a.m. I texted Eric, "Hey Eric, this is Alex Stein's producer. We are having Ethan Van Sciver on the show today, but we were wondering if you wanted to come on the show as well. You can join via Skype if you don't want to come in the studio. I know y'all have been beefing online, so I think it would be a good way to set the record straight. Let me know if that works for you. Thanks." A little back and forth. Eric was hesitant, and then this is what he said. Interesting. So the goal is to platform him and have him talk about myself. Seems like an obvious, purposeful move to just go on a platform that I obviously contribute at to talk down about me. And I want to talk. Ethan wasn't even going to talk about Eric on the show. He wanted to promote a new project, but since Eric is a colleague, we obviously had to bring that up because it'd be kind of awkward not to. But so I
and we were
responded,
going to defend Eric. Let's
yeah.
make that
So
clear.
this was my next text. Alex is obviously planning on defending you, but we thought it would be better if you defended yourself. The purpose of the show will be to figure out the beef, and if it can be settled, not to fan the flames or talk shit about you. If you're changing your mind about coming on, you're welcome to appear today. If not, let us know if there's anything specific you'd like us to bring up that you haven't already discussed online. And then eventually he said, okay, I'll come on. And meanwhile, we had not told Ethan any of this. Ethan was completely in the dark. And that's
we
probably,
had a little bit of a Josie Bryson Gray situation because that show was a hit, one of our most successful shows.
Yeah,
so
well,
we're kind of trying to recreate
in
that.
hindsight, we should have hit both Eric and Ethan up sooner. But anyway, from Eric's perspective, it looked like we were trying to like ambush him, surprise him, had on this guest that we knew was going to talk bad about him, and then the day of, 11:15, text him, hey, you want to come on and defend yourself? So from his perspective, it looked like we were kind of strong arming into it, and it basically kind of was a bad look. And
for you, a bad look for
yeah,
you.
well,
And Jimmy, we're losing viewers. I'm watching this. Our numbers are going down on this
trying
board.
to explain everything.
No. Let me explain something to you, Jimmy. You're a dumbass, okay? You have a mental issue. You went to Princeton, so you think you're so freaking smart. Now, George, take the wide camera. I want to show everybody
I have
this.
to finish the explanation. Because we want to be clear. Ethan found out because we tweeted the logo, and I thought we had told him, but there was some miscommunication. So Ethan had nothing to do with this. He didn't do anything wrong. Eric didn't do anything wrong. It was just a poorly set up trying to get to debates.
Wrong.
And I did all the things wrong because I was trying to basically address him criticizing a Blaze colleague, and it just all went bad. I handled it poorly. I apologize to both Eric and Ethan, and hopefully we never have to talk about this again.